It's time for another Sassy Sleeve Saturday. Hi, I'm Christina, and I love to digitally apparel pattern in Adobe Illustrator, creating unique pieces of wearable art. And today I am super excited to be redrafting this sleeve here. I drafted it a little while ago, and it didn't quite turn out the way I wanted. It is not quite as full as I want up at the top, and there's a few other tweaks that I definitely want to make. I actually love to draft in half scale using less fabric and less time to make sure that I'm getting the exact pattern I want before then recreating it in full scale or my size. So let's get drafting this fun, unique sleeve. I'm going to bring up Adobe Illustrator and I'm going to bring up the pattern that I have here. Again, it's just not quite what I want. There's not enough fullness up at the top of the sleeve, giving it that nice cap sleeve with some ruffles. And the bottom I think is fine. So I'm actually going to kind of be using some of the base of the pattern that I started with here and manipulating it into a new pattern, maybe two. I might do two. Actually, I am thinking I'm going to do two different types so I can kind of compare and contrast which one I like better. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste that pattern that I have, the old pattern that I have, so I can start with that as a base because I know it fits the sleeve and I don't need to redo some of those. I decided that I'm going to make that top half, I'm going to do a half circle and then a full circle. So we're going to be doing some fun circle math to start. And I'm really excited because I'm afraid the full circle might be a little bit too floofy. So that's why I'm doing the half circle and the full circle to kind of give myself two different ideas of where to go. So on to circle math. I'm going to bring up my calculator. Not on to circle math first. The first thing that we're going to do actually is we're going to cut this pattern apart so that we know what size of a circle we need to be creating. Ungroup it so I can only grab that guy. And he is 8.40. So we're going to pull up a calculator and do some circle math. So 8.4 divided by pi 2.67. Now that is the diameter of the circle that I need. So 2.675. So we're going to go back here. 2.675. 2.675. And we're going to pull it into a circle and check it. 8.4. Perfect. We got it. So that is now going to be basically our arm's eye. So instead of having it along here, it's now going to be a full circle. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to move that down just a little bit, is I want to know what the next length I want. So this I have at basically 3.5. Yeah, 3.5. So I want to draw another circle that's basically 3.5 inches bigger. Well, actually 6.5 inches bigger than this one. So that means we're going to do 2.7 plus 6.5, 917. Whoops. Didn't mean to re-click that. That's okay. Bring up the square, 9.71, I think it was, 9.71. We'll see. We're going to pull it into a circle. We're going to align them so that they're there. Let's see if I was right. 3.52. Perfect. So that is kind of the base of this circle. Now you can just go ahead and put this circle onto your sleeve and you'll have like a high-low sleeve. It'll go nice and over your shoulder, but then you'll also have it hanging down below and it'll be uneven. These are really fun sleeves. I love circle sleeves. I almost never put them the armhole in the direct center of them, because then you get that weird high-low area, and that's not ideal. So I always offset them when I'm doing that. But we're not doing that today. We are going to do a full circle and a half circle. So I'm actually going to cut this one in half. Are you still grouped? You are. So I'm going to cut you in half. Yeah, I'll cut you in half too, just so that we have something. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy paste, because I want to leave that as kind of a whole thing. And I'm going to give myself a guideline as well. We want to make sure we're going right down the center of that. So we're going to line up the underarm point right there with where we're going to put the underline or the underarm point there, and we're going to rotate it till it lines up nicely with that half. Then you're going to do the exact same thing to the other side. Copy paste. We're going to group it so that I don't have to deal with stuff getting left behind. Make sure that it is centered exactly where I want it to go. Rotate it around. And there we have it. So now that is a full circle one that's actually kind of more of a half circle, because we're only going to be using this half circle. And that's actually more what I was thinking, but I think I'm just going to do a bigger one as well. Yeah, so this is going to be what I was considering my full circle sleeve. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it basically like this. I'm not going to have it curve in like this. I'm going to have it kind of do a harsh stop, because I want this little flutter to continue all the way down. So I'm going to have it do a full on stop. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and lock that layer, and we're going to pen out our new sleeve. Give it a little bit of that. Go there. See if we can find the center. And pen around. There we go. Pretty close. Just go and fix this one guy in. Gotta love those minute handles so you can really get it exactly how you want it. So there we go. We have our sleeve. We want to make sure that we grab this under layer here. We want to copy it to the top layer so that when we make the bottom layer disappear, we still have our arm's eye. And the other thing I want to do is actually I'm just going to make sure I hash mark these guys. I'm wondering if my sleeves are not quite even. So what I'm going to do, we're going to pen a line right on top of this hash mark, or notch, I mean, and then we're going to pen another one right up top to it so that they are together. And then we're going to highlight those two, copy paste it over, get it right on there and rotate it. Yeah, so that's interesting. my underarm seam is not quite the same. What I think I want to do, what I know I want to do, is I actually want to move that up so that it's cutting off that circle there at that length, which means I am also going to then move this anchor point up just a little bit. And if I move that up, because now I know those two side lengths are the same, and that's what I want, which is interesting that they weren't the same to begin with. Always fun to find that stuff out. But that is what I'm considering to be like a full circle, because we're missing just a little bit of it. So now, instead of doing the full circle, I'm actually going to do kind of like a half circle. So instead of having the arm's eye be an entire circle all the way around, I'm going to have the arm's eye be a half circle all the way around. So we know it was 8.4. To get it, we had to divide it by pi. And that is the diameter for the small circle, which means it is the radius for the bigger half circle. So we're going to times it by 2. 5.35. We're going to go over here. 5.35, 5.35. Pull it into a circle. And then we, whoops, wrong one, Control Z, line, not ellipse. We're going to get that line there. And we're going to divide the objects. And move that guy out of the way. And we're going to cut him apart to double check our math. And we got 8.4, 8.4. Perfect. So instead of basically bringing the underarm seam together and having no seam, I will have a seam on the top of the arm and on the bottom of the arm of this particular one. So I'm going to just move this out just a little bit so that I have a little bit more room to work with. Move you out of the way. But I'm still going to do, oh, that layer is locked. Unlock that. I'm still going to grab this guy and paste him on that layer. And we're still going to line that up. And then I might need to pre-plan this a little bit. But I am thinking, oh, I still need my outer circle as well. I'm thinking I'm going to do more of like a 45-degree angle from there. So before I do that, let's move this guy out of the way. We're going to group it together. So I still want about 3.5. So we're going to do plus, now it was 3.25, so plus 6.5. 6.5, there we go. 11.85. So now we're going to do 11.85. 11.85. Pull it into a circle. And we want to intersect. You are intersecting everything, but what I want you to intersect. It sometimes likes to do that. Can I get it so that it is only paying attention? Well, even if we can't, we're going to give myself a line. So there is the center that we're looking to line up. Perfect. There we go. Now, I want to jump those off. I decided at 45-degree angles. So we're just going to draft a degree line, like a 5 at 45. There we go. And then I'm actually going to reflect that line, not that way, we're going to reflect it this way over the center line so that we have it going off on both edges of our line. Let's grab this guy, and now we can actually line him up. Like so. I was pretty darn close by eyeballing that, but now we know that's exactly where we want it. So now we're going to go grab this other half, paste, and come on, zoom in and fine control it up. It sometimes is so much easier to just fine control it over with the arrow keys, because then you can get it exactly where you want it. And this is actually wanting, it looks like it wants to go down just a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to draft a line that's 1 inch below. So instead of doing a 3.5 inch, I'm actually going to change it to 4.5 inches over that shoulder cap, I think. I think that will be grand. So then what I have to do is actually lock this layer, and we're going to pen it out. All the way around to get our pattern. Now we know, we do know those are off. So I think what I'm going to do to start, this one was the longer one. We're going to start by drafting a line and another line. There we go. And we're going to copy, paste. We're going to put those together like so. Get it right on. And rotate it onto that line. Okay. Right. It was, I remember now. That's cool. We still did that. If you wanted to do that, that's how. So then we're going to join that so that it will complete that pattern. And we're going to pull out and continue. So I think what I'm just going to do is I'm going to go straight down to this edge, and we're going to make it a half circle just like that. And since it's all center, we should be good to go. Finish it up. You can make that pattern disappear, and there we have it. That is the half circle of the arm's eye. So we have the full circle arm's eye and the half circle arm's eye to give them a test and see which one will look more like this fun, sassy sleeve. If you're interested in following along, like I said before, you can grab your own half scale pattern with the link down in the description below so that you can start making your own fun half scale patterns and then scaling them up to whatever size you like. Definitely check back soon for when I actually sew this together and compare the 3 different sleeves I now have patterned for this one sassy sleeve. And you can see how I put them together and how they compare from the very first one that doesn't quite have the fullness I want to how these two compare to those as well. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing you in some of my other videos. Happy patterning!